With regards to agenda item Z-19-08-003, the Greensboro Zoning Commission believes its action to approve the zoning amendment for the property located at 402-404 Penry Road from CD-RM-12 Conditional District Residential Multifamily 12 to PUD Plan Unit Development to be consistent with the adopted Connections 2025 Comprehensive Plan, and considers the action to be taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. 1, the request is consistent with the Comprehensive Plan's reinvestment infill goal to promote sound investment in Greensboro's urban areas. 2, the request is consistent with Comprehensive Plan's housing and neighborhood goal to meet the needs of present and future Greensboro citizens for a choice of decent, affordable housing and stable, livable neighborhoods that offer security, quality of life, and the necessary arrays of services and facilities. 3, the request includes conditions that limit potential negative impacts to the surrounding area.
Our motion by Mr. Engle, a second by Mr. Blackstock. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All right, so that's 8 in favor of the motion. Anyone opposed? All right. This approval constitutes final action unless appealed in writing to the Planning Department within 10 days. Anyone may file such an appeal. All such appeals will be subject to a public hearing at the September 17, 2019 City Council meeting. All adjoining property owners will be notified of any such appeal.
Have you been looking for properties but unable to find a good deal? Do you feel like lack of access to private capital is holding you back? Do you have the confidence in your skills to execute your business plan? The Myers Method? We walk with you to help you step by step understand the actions needed to identify, acquire, operate, and maintain multifamily properties.
Guys, great morning, great morning. It's Monday morning. I'm over here at Towns. No, this isn't Towns. This is Myers Point, man. Myers Point at Greenbrier. We're getting the grass cut. Meeting with my property manager to talk about strategy on a couple of evictions and turnovers we're going to take care of this month. Coming up in June. Really made a lot of progress on this property over the past year. Now it's time to take it to the next level.
The next matter is item Z-19-08-003, a rezoning from CDRM-12 Conditional District Residential Multifamily 12 to PUD Plant Unit Development for the property located at 402-404 Penry Road, generally described as east of Penry Road and north of East Wendover Avenue, approximately 6.33 acres. Mr. Carter.
Mr. Chair, I need to recuse myself from this matter as I'm a board member of Affordable Housing Management.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Lester. This is the zoning map of the subject property. The subject property currently contains approximately 6.33 acres and is located east of Penry Road and north of East Wendover Avenue. The applicant is requesting a rezoning from Conditional District RM-12 to Planned Unit Development. And a copy of the concept plan for the Planned Unit Development was included in your packet. North of the request is zoned R5. East of the request is zoned CDLI. South of the request is zoned R5 and CDLI. And west of the request is zoned R5 and PI. PI is public and institutional. This is an aerial map of the subject property, which is currently vacant. North of the request are single-family dwellings. East and south of the request are a warehouse and distribution use. And west of the request are single-family dwellings and a GTCC campus. This image shows the subject property as seen from Penry Road. This image shows the eastern portion of the subject property as seen from the adjacent industrial property. This image shows a single-family dwelling located north of the subject property, zoned R5. This image shows vacant land located north of the subject property, also zoned R5. This image shows the warehouse and distribution use located east of the subject property, zone CDLI. This image shows vacant land located south of the subject property, zoned R5. And this image shows a single-family dwelling, or shows single-family dwellings located west of the subject property, zoned R5. This image shows a single-family dwelling located west of the property, of the subject property, also zoned R5. This view is facing north on Penry Road. The subject property is on the right. And this view is facing south on Penry Road. The subject property is on the left. These are the conditions that were proposed by the applicant, and I can answer any questions that you have at this time.
All right, and is this a question I had about this was the PUD is limited to residential use at this time?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, is the applicant here? I'd like to hear from you, sir. Come on up.
Good evening. Great. So I'm Jerome Myers, 6151 Burlington Road, Sedalia. And we've created an organization called Technology Road to own and operate this apartment complex. So why this location? First and foremost, invest east. We truly believe in the mission to kind of revitalize the eastern part of town. We believe there's a need for new housing stock. We see it as an opportunity to be first to the market in new housing. Over 70% of the property owners there are absentee, and this was based on the 40-plus mailers that we sent out. First of a kind project. So we want to do contemporary or modern design, and so we see that as first of its kind outside of the central business district. The site is great, clean environmental, minimal grading, water and sewers already available. Penry Road's a major thoroughfare, and we also have bus access. It's in the East Wendover Avenue Activity Center. Publix distribution center's coming, so there's going to be a need for more housing in the area. And then with the loop being completed, there's an ease of commute. Luke already talked through this, but we're looking to go from CDM RM12 to PUD with a maximum of 120 units and a maximum building height of 50 feet. This is our preliminary site layout. We're looking to do townhomes on the front to be more in line with the single-family homes that line Penry Road. And then in the back, we want to do 3-story apartment buildings. It's a mix of 2 and 3 bedrooms as we see it today. We'll also have a fitness center with a leasing office and a playground for the children that we anticipate living there. Just at the highest level, we looked at the market, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this came from the National Apartment Association. There's a huge gap in the triad for deliveries and rental household formations. And so we picked Northeast Greensboro because of that. And so our site sits here in what we're considering a northeast quadrant of the city. And so what are we building? We're going to have pretty strong finishes. The kitchen's granite or quartz countertops.
Excuse me, sir, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just asked the city to start the timer.
Okay.
You can continue. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I'll be done quickly. Pretty high finishes, granite quartz countertops, stainless steel appliances, glass tile backsplashes. And so we're doing a pretty nice product is kind of the point that I want to convey here. These are just for illustrative purposes, but we're looking for, like I said, a modern or contemporary style building. And this is what the townhomes might look like, depending on what happens with our architect. And so, we've done a considerable amount of work so far. Today's the rezoning hearing. We had a community meeting on 8/14. We had 2 households attend. They're actually here this evening. And a lot of the discussion with them was about traffic, potential increase in crime, increase in noise. And there's not really things that we can adjust from the site, so we weren't able to really make any modifications. And then, we just wanted to make sure we were tied to the strategic plan, so we saw our connections with Goal 6, Goal 4.1, Goal 5.2, and Goal 7. Really, the big one for us was the decent and affordable housing and working with infill lots. And that concludes my presentation.
All right, thank you. Are there questions of the applicant? All right, is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the request?
Have you been looking for properties but unable to find a good deal? Do you feel like lack of access to private capital is holding you back? Do you have the confidence in your skills to execute your business plan? The Myers Method, we walk with you to help you step by step understand the actions needed to identify, acquire, operate, and maintain multifamily properties.
Good evening, Zoning Commission, Chair, and members. My name is David Levy. I'm the Executive Director of Affordable Housing Management, a private nonprofit organization based here in Greensboro, 330 South Green Street. What Mr. Myers is proposing, I wanted to let you know that Affordable Housing Management is the current owner of the property. When we purchased the property in 2008, our concept was to build apartments there, utilizing the tax credits. And unfortunately, the tax credit criteria for sites changed, which basically eliminated this project. They don't like having projects built next to distribution centers. We thought it was going to be a home run because it was right next to a distribution center, which is a job center. Across the street is Guilford Tech, which is, as you know, education. So we thought, education, jobs, housing, it was a home run. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for us. We looked at other financing scenarios, but we could not make that work to reach the affordability level that we attempt to achieve. So what Mr. Myers is proposing on this development, we think is the next best thing. Workforce housing, affordable housing, it's a huge, huge need for Greensboro. East Greensboro in this area lacks any really workforce housing other than older properties, smaller properties. So we think this is a great concept and would appreciate your support. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in opposition to the request?
Good evening. My name is Betty Jeffries. I live at 320 Penry Road, Greensboro, North Carolina. Right before you get to the site that they want to build the apartments. Now, I have been a resident at this address for more than 40 years. And my home is located in the Mount Zion community. And the Mount Zion community has been a single-family community since before I was born, and I won't tell you how old I am. But I object to rezoning this property, the property that they want to rezone. Unfortunately, it's already zoned for 70 units. They would like to rezone it to a company 120 units. Our road, Penry Road, is a very busy road because it connects Huffine Mill Road to East Wendover. Now, if they built 70 units, that would be 140 extra cars a day. They built 120 units, that's 240 extra cars per se if everyone in a relationship, husband and wife work, usually they have 2 cars. So that's like a lot more traffic than I think our road needs. Because, like I said, we already handle a lot of traffic coming from McLeansville. People use that road for a cut through to Wendover. And they don't observe the 35-mile-per-hour speed limit. And I think that this proposition would just bring more extra traffic to a single-family community. And it has always been a single-family community. We don't have one multi-family unit in our community. It's nice, it's quiet as it can be after traffic settles down. And everybody there, mostly everybody, we have some young couples, like my friend here, but a lot of it is older adults, retired. I just would like for you to put yourself in our place. Would you want 240 more people living right up under you? We don't. We want to keep our community as it is because that's how it's always been. A single-family community. Everybody basically knows each other. And we'd like to keep it like that. If this development is allowed, it'll be like putting another Mount Zion community within 6 acres of land. It's less than 150 homes in our community. They want to put 240 in 6 acres of land. So I ask you as a homeowner to deny their petition to increase it to 120 units and keep it like it is. Leave us in peace because we don't need any more congestion. And just try to put yourself in our place.
Just a real quick question. What is your address again, please?
My address is 320 Penry Road. And I'd like to also say that they would be going out probably to Wendover. It's right in front of my home where I've lived forever. I mean, that's a lot of extra traffic. I don't think the lot's large enough to accommodate that many new apartments or whatever. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Burks, and I reside in 414 and 412 Penry Road, right next door to the proposed site. And the thing is, like she said, that's a a nice property, but that's a lot of people to bring down in the neighborhood. It's basically putting a new neighborhood inside of one of the oldest African-American neighborhoods in Greensboro. That land over there used to be my great-grandfather's land. But over the years, well, before I was born, he broke it up and sold it. But that's always been the country. You know, I used to take cows and stuff over there to the pasture. So over the years, you know, it's been, you know, brought up to the city aspect or whatnot. But like she said, you would be put, like, roughly, it's probably, 75, 50 people on the street at the most. But to bring another 200 to 300 people right there, and it's basically going to be right beside my houses and right in her front door. I'm sorry, some of the other people are not here today, but like she said, most of them are elderly. So with the rain, I already knew some of them wasn't getting out. But it's just, like I said, it's going to bring a whole bunch of new traffic and congestion. I mean, like, people are already flying up and down the street like it's a drag strip. And it's just, for me, I mean, I'm young, I understand change, but to just bring that and dump that right there in the middle of the neighborhood, it's not going to look good. I mean, like I said, it's a bunch of older houses, well-knit community, family-based, and to bring all that new modern technology in the middle of the neighborhood, it would be an eyesore. It would sit out so, roughly within the community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition to the request? All right, is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the request? You have 5 minutes. All right, seeing none, then I'm going to close the public portion of the hearing and ask city staff for its recommendation.
Thank you, Chair Lester. This property is currently designated as mixed-use corporate park and low residential on the comprehensive plan's generalized future land use map, with the mixed-use corporate park covering the majority of the property. The mixed-use corporate park designation is intended for larger tracts of undeveloped land in the city's fringe. They're appropriate for well-planned and larger-scale business and employment parks, but that also includes supporting uses such as retails, hotels, and residential. The proposed request does support the comprehensive plan's reinvestment infill goal to promote sound investment in Greensboro's urban areas and the housing and neighborhoods goal to meet the needs of present and future Greensboro citizens for a choice of decent and affordable housing in stable, livable neighborhoods, offering security, quality of life, and the necessary array of services and facilities. The proposed PUD request, as conditioned, does limit potential negative impacts on the surrounding area, and staff is recommending approval of the request.
Is there any discussion, questions?
So this request does not trigger the need for a traffic study, is that correct?
That is correct.
And I'm trying to go back to the picture in my mind of the survey that Mr. Myers presented. What is the ingress and egress? Is it just one way in, one way out?
The site plan that has been the sketch plan that showed one way in. I'm sorry, I missed the thing. I was talking to a resident, but I believe right now it's just one way in and one way out.
Okay.
And I believe that'd be all that would be allowed based on their street frontage.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, do you have a motion?
I mean, in general, and I understand the concern, and I hear you. I think, you hear tonight when we talk through these things, a lot of it for me is the land use. As I looked in this area and drove around the GTCC campus, the distribution center, to me, there is a need for some kind of density over there. I personally, looking at the area and the acreage, I felt comfortable with it, and I'll vote for it. As far as the traffic is concerned, we don't get to handle that. The city is required to provide, improvements to roads and things, and the hope would be that the increase in tax revenue would fund that. As to the crime, I mean that's a crystal ball that I can't look into. I can tell you that you're more likely, in my experience, when you have vacant lots or unattended lots to have crime than you are when you have, something that's going on there that's well managed. So, that for that reason and more, I'll probably be supporting that this evening.
All right, do you have a motion, Mr. Engle? Thank you.
With regards to agenda item Z-19-08-003, the Greensboro Zoning Commission believes its action to approve the zoning amendment for the property located at 402-404 Penry Road from CD-RM-12 Conditional District Residential Multifamily 12 to PUD Plan Unit Development to be consistent with the adopted Connections 2025 Comprehensive Plan and considers the action to be taken to be reasonable and in the public interest for the following reasons. 1, the request is consistent with the Comprehensive Plan's reinvestment infill goal to promote sound investment in Greensboro's urban areas. 2, the request is consistent with Comprehensive Plan's housing and neighborhood goal to meet the needs of present and future Greensboro citizens for a choice of decent, affordable housing in stable, livable neighborhoods that offer security, quality of life, and the necessary arrays of services and facilities. 3, the request includes conditions that limit potential negative impacts to the surrounding area.
Our motion by Mr. Engle, a second by Mr. Blackstock. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All right, so that's 8 in favor of the motion. Anyone opposed? All right. This approval constitutes final action unless appealed in writing to the Planning Department within 10 days. Anyone may file such an appeal. All such appeals will be subject to a public hearing at the September 17, 2019 City Council meeting. All adjoining property owners will be notified of any such appeal.
Have you been looking for properties but unable to find a good deal? Do you feel like lack of access to private capital is holding you back? Do you have the confidence in your skills to execute your business plan? The Myers Method? We walk with you to help you step by step understand the actions needed to identify, acquire, operate, and maintain multifamily properties.
Guys, great morning. It's Monday morning. I'm over here at Towns. No, this isn't Towns. This is Myers Point, man. Myers Point at Greenbrier. We're getting the grass cut. Meeting with my property manager to talk about strategy on a couple of evictions and turnovers we're going to take care of this month. Coming up in June. Really made a lot of progress on this property over the past year. Now it's time to take it to the next level.